Yo, this video is my attempt at a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness Hardcore Nuzlocke. The rules of a Hardcore Nuzlocke will be in the description and on screen, so pause the video if you need to. Pokemon XD is probably the hardest vanilla Pokemon game because of Shadow type moves being super effective on all non-Shadow Pokemon, and the limited amount of Pokemon I'm going to be able to use throughout the run. So I'm not exactly sure I'm going to win this, so we'll just see how it goes. The game starts off with Shadow Lugia, the future bane of my existence, taking off with the SS Libra, stranding and killing 2 people. This game's awesome. My starter is an Eevee with a timid nature, up speed, down physical attack, which is amazing for what I plan to evolve him into. I'm told that I need to go find my little sister Jovi at Kamiko's house, so I go there, and as I start to go in I get stopped by his nearly blind assistant Chobin. Because of his blindness, he claims that I'm a robber and challenges me to a battle, but I make short work of him because he only has a sun turn. I find Jovi, then go back to the lab where I get the Snag machine, which is in very good timing because I go outside as Professor Crane is getting kidnapped by Team Cipher, the evil team of this game. I fight the first Peon and then snag my first encounter, Teddiursa. I would tell you his nickname and nature if it wasn't hidden until after I purify him, so later. After that, I'm sent to Agate on port by my mom to get some machine parts. After some brief late game foreshadowing, I go into the parts shop to get the parts, and I talk to this other guy because he gives me a choice of an item to evolve my Eevee. I take the Thunderstone and immediately evolve Eevee into Jolteon. I choose Jolteon because his high speed and special attack will be an invaluable asset to this run. Also, electric types perform extremely well in XD, so I'm excited to use them. While I'm still at the port, I go to fight a trainer at the top of the lighthouse so that I can snag his Poochyena. I went for Poochyena because the only other encounter at the port was a Ladybug, and there's no way I'm using that weak Pokemon. Also, having Intimidate will be extremely useful. Next, I go to Agate Village. The first thing I do while there is go to the name raider to name Jolteon Zeus. Then I make short work of all the trainers and run back and forth for a while so that I'm able to purify my 2 Shadow Pokemon. Before I'm able to purify them, I have to fight Egan, but he only has a Pikachu. Stupid rat. Now I get to purify my Teddiursa. I name him Blood for reasons. He has a lax nature, up defense, lowered speed F, which is fine, but through purification, he learns Return, which is amazing. I also purify my Poochyena and name him Logan. He has a relaxed nature, up defense, lowered speed, which isn't great, but his ability is still Intimidate, so I can't really complain. After I purify my Pokemon, Egan sends me to Mount Battle to get info on Team Cypher's HQ from Vander, an area leader there. I get there and I have to fight one of his students. The fight isn't anything difficult because he only has a Doduo and Spoink. After I beat him, he tells me about a Cipher lab in one of the deserts nearby. Next, I'm sent off to the first Cipher base where I meet the biggest idiots in fiction. The 6 rainbow-colored Cipher Peons that can't count to 6. The good thing is that they all have a Shadow Pokemon each, so I can fight one of them for an encounter outside of the base. I choose to fight Browsix first to get Baltoy as my encounter. I choose Baltoy because Claydolls typing in bulk will be amazing for the run. I also just really like the Baltoy line. It's a really funny line in my opinion, and I mean, I don't know, man. What else do you want me to say? It's Baltoy. Anyway, I immediately go back to Agate Village and make some more laps in the cave to purify Baltoy. I named Baltoy Deity because he's the best. Deity has an adamant nature, up attack, down special attack. Kinda bad, not really, I don't know. Because of how difficult this game is and how little encounters I get, I'm going to allow myself to choose which Pokemon I'm going to catch in each area, which, as you'll see, won't really matter too much. I go through the base until I find Cipher RNT Klutz, goofy on name, which has my encounter, a Shadow Shroomish. I catch it without much trouble. I go further into the hideout and fight more Peons as Logan hits level 18, evolving into a Mightyena. Eventually I end up fighting Naps again. He leads Murkrow and Rhyhorn as I lead Logan and Shadow Shroomish, causing Logan's Intimidate to proc. Murkrow uses Peck on Logan as he hits back with Poison Fang. Then, Shroomish uses Mega Drain to OHKO Rhyhorn. Naps sends in Slackoth as I switch Shroomish for Zeus. Murkrow hits for minimal damage as I flinch Slackoth with a bite. I then Thundershock Murkrow with Zeus and bite Slackoth again with Logan for the double knockout, leading to Beldum, which goes down to a T-Shock bite combo, winning the battle. I end the fight with my team being around level 18 and below, which is under the level cap of the next admin fight, which is bad because I wasn't looking at my notes at all, and the next admin fight is right now. Cipher Admin Love Arena leads with Love Disc and Duty Fly, as I lead the same thing as before, Logan and Shroomish. I immediately switch Logan for Zeus, as Shroomish gets hit with a Water Gun and Gust, leaving him too low to stay in, even after a Mega Drain. So I switch him for Blood, as I nearly KO Love Disc with a T-Shock. Both the Pokemon proceed to double into Blood, but he's fine. I KO Love Disc as she sends in Roselia. Beauty Flight gets KO'd next as she sends in Shadow Delcatty. Roselia hits hard with Mega Drain on Blood, but he retaliates with a return. I switch him for Logan and bite Roselia with Zeus, KOing. Almost. As Delcatty hits hard with Shadow Rush. I get lucky and pair the Delcatty with Zeus's next T-Shock, and it gets fully parried. Logan then KOs Roselia with Bite. All's left is Delcatty, but since her speed was lower, 2 T-Shocks and a flinch from Bite lead to the KO. Never punished. After this fight, I'm sent to Pyrite Town. Hell yeah. But I don't do much here because I realize I should probably purify Shroomish. So I go back to Agate to do that. I purify him and name him Keegan.
Do not touch that mushroom, you'll die!
He has a brave nature, which is up attack, lowered speed, which could be worse, I guess. After some leveling against trainers, I go to the cave Pokespot to fight Miror B for the first time. But it ain't much of anything, so I'll just skip it. Once I return to Pyrite, Team Cipher has taken over the station, so I got cleared out. After a few Peon fights, I get to Cipher Peon Messin, who has a Shadow Vulpix, which I catch and add to the team. Before I started clearing out the station, I put Pokesnacks on each of the 3 spots so I could get some encounters. From the rock ground spot, I got a Gligar, which I catch and name Eclipse. But Gliscor isn't in the game, so he won't be used. From the cave Pokespot, I get a Zubat, which I catch and name Pattinson.
Something's in my ass.
And from the Oasis Pokestop, I get a Hoppip, which isn't used, so let's move on. After what feels like years off my life running back and forth, I'm able to purify Vulpix. Once I do, she gains Heat Wave, which is great. I name her Cinder. She has a naughty nature, up attack, low speed F, which is pretty bad, not gonna lie, but whatever. While clearing out more of the station, I decided to add Pattinson in the team in place of Blood. After leveling her up for a while, she evolves into Golbat at level 22. She has a brave nature, which is fine, I guess. While clearing out the rest of the station to the level cap, Keegan also evolves into Braylon as well, learning Mach Punch in the process. After grinding, it's time to fight Cipher CMDR Exel. He leaves Loudred and Girafarig as I lead my 2 new team members, Pattinson and Cinder. But I immediately switch Pattinson into Logan to bait a Psychic attack from Girafarig into the slot, which works as he uses Confusion, doing no damage. Cinder then hits both of them with Heat Wave for minimal damage as Loudred hits Logan with Seismic Toss. Then next turn Girafarig hits him with Shockwave. After another Heat Wave, Logan KOs Loudred with Bite, leading to a Shadow Motwile. I'm expecting another Shockwave in a Logan, so I switch to Deity because he's immune. Cinder uses another Heat Wave, but unfortunately, Mawile gets a crit Shadow Rush, killing Cinder in one shot, the first death of the run. This is inevitable, but at least it happened before he used a Firestone on her. Anyway, I send in Zeus and doubled into Mawile to get off the field, as he sends in Raichu. Girafarig then gets KO'd by Zeus as Raichu hits Deity for big damage with Seismic Toss, so I switched him for Keegan. Zeus then hits Raichu for half health with a crit bite, then Raichu uses Dig, so I switch Zeus out for Pattinson to dodge it. Then a Mega Drain Mach Punch combo from Keegan KOs him. Then I add Blood back to the team and head into the Pyrite Colosseum. Now the Colosseum isn't mandatory, but it rewards the Brick Break TM the first time you complete it. So I went in, but the battles were pretty easy, so I can teach the Brick Break TM to Keegan and move on to Railgun Tower. I'm here for a long time playing Battle Bingo to grind battle points to get TMs. I end up getting 3 Shadow Ball TMs, teaching them to Logan, D&D, and Pattinson. I also get a Thunderbolt TM for Zeus and a Psychic TM for Deity. Next, I go to Phenac City, only to discover that the entirety of the city's population has been replaced by Team Cipher. Aki game. The first one I fight actually has my encounter in Snowrunt, which doesn't end up getting used, so we move on. After beating the Cipher peons all over the city and some grinding at Mount Battle, I can go into the stadium for my next admin fight against Cipher admin Snaddle. Snaddle leads Lantern and Quagsire, as I lead Zeus and Keegan. Zeus hits Lantern with Bite for chip as Keegan hits Quagsire with Mega Drain, missing the range to KO, leading to him getting doubled into with a Facade and Ice Punch, taking him to half HP. Zeus then KOs Quag, leading to Shadow Lunatone. Keegan hits Lantern with Mega Drain for some health recovery as she Facades Zeus. Because I'm slightly scared of Shadow Lunatone in this stage of the game, I decided to test my luck and attempt to catch it. Also because I hadn't gotten my encounter from the stadium yet, and I needed one. So I threw an Ultra Ball, and it shook 3 times, and got out. The bastard. But luckily Zeus then flinches him with a Bite, so I get to try again now that it's at half health. And I catch it, leading to Cast Form. Zeus takes another Facade, but it's a half, so I decided to switch him for Blood as Keegan KOs Lantern with Mach Punch. Then Cast Form Icy Winds, lowering my Mon's speed. Because of this, I decided to Mach Punch Cast Form with Keegan, but he misses the range, leading to him getting hit by Leather Ball. But luckily Matang only decides to hit Blood with Confusion, so Blood KOs Cast Form. I switch Keegan for Logan, but Blood is taken into crit range by another Confusion. So I switch him to Deity, then a Dig and Bite from Logan, and 2 Mud Shots from Deity wins me the fight. After I save the city, I get stuck in the sand on my way to the next destination. So after location hopping for a few minutes, I end up back at Kamiko's house, where Chavin challenges me to another battle inside of a Robo Groudon. Weird game. His team now consists of Gyarados, Sunflora, Hoppip, and Tropius. But as you can see, he wasn't much of a problem. Now I can go deep into the desert where I find the SS Libra. Weird. Anyway, while in here, I have to fight Nabs again, which isn't a problem, so we'll just move on. As I leave, I proceed to get my Snag machine stolen by Team Snagum. So I track them down, only have to fight Thug Zook, which isn't a problem, so for time we'll skip him. After some more random BS, I head to Snagum hideout to recover my Snag machine. After I defeat some of the grunts, Pattinson gains enough friendship to evolve into Crobat, which is a great addition to the team. Then it's time to fight Snagum head Yonzap. He leads Electrode and Nuzleaf, as I lead Deity and Blood, the latter of which being asleep because I had to fight a grunt right before this. Anyway, because of that, I switch him for Zeus, which takes a Fake Out from Nuzleaf, and then absorbs a Spark from Electrode, as Deity hits a Psychic. Next turn, Zeus flinches Electrode with Bite, and Deity gets 2 low HP from a Fade attack, so I switch into Logan, and KO Electrode with another Bite, sending it in Vileplume. So I bite it with Zeus, flinching it, and Poison Fang Nuzleaf, which then Hyper Beams. I then double in with Bites as Nuzleaf has to recharge. So then another Bite and Poison Fang KO, leading to Wishcash and Skarmory. I KO Skarmory with a T-Bolt and hit Wishcash with Shadow Ball as it Hyper Beams Zeus. So while it recharges, I switch to Keegan, and then Shadow Ball, and then next turn a Shadow Ball and a Mega Drain KO, winning the battle, rewarding me with my Snag machine and the respect of Team Snagum. After that, I go to Mount Battle to grind so that I can evolve Blood into Ursaring. Again, a major upgrade to the team. Now I go back to Cipher Key Lair to beat Zook again and have Team Snagum back me up so that I can get in. And then after a few Peon battles, I get my next encounter in Growlithe. I was originally planning on catching Shadow Shelter here, but because Vulpix died earlier in the run, I decided I wanted to grab another Fire type. I make my way through the rest of the base, but after I fight all the trainers, I decide to go grind some more Mount Battle before the next admin fight, evolving Deity into Claydol in the process, which I teach the Earthquake TM I got from Cipher's Lair. Speaking of, after grinding, I go back there to fight Monkey Man. I mean, Cipher admin Gorgon, of course. He leads Lairon and Celio, as I lead Deity and Pattinson. I wing attack Celio and then EQ to KO them both, as he sends in Slowking and Ursaring. I then Shadow Ball Slowking and EQ with Deity, KOing Slowking and getting Ursaring into the red with a crit, leading to Shadow Primate. Ursaring then gets a crit of his own, bringing Pattinson to less than a third, so I KO with Wing Attack, leading to Shadow Hypno, as Primate hits Deity with Shadow Rush. Then, Deity uses another EQ, and then next turn I double switch into Zeus and Logan. But a Shadow Rush from Primate and a crit Shadow Storm from Hypno bring him down to 7 HP. So I switch back to Deity as I KO Primate with T-Bolt. But then Super Hypno crits again with Shadow Storm and a Deity, so I switch him for Blood, which KOs Hypno next turn with a return, but not after he crits again with Shadow Storm. Anyway, after that shit show, it's time for the endgame. I now go back to the port to talk to the machine parts guy, because he lets me use one of the coolest looking things in a Pokemon game, Robo-Kyogre. I use it to get to the final Cipher base, the Citadark Isle. Before I head out though, I decide to retire Logan so that I can use Growlithe. Logan's efforts to the run will not be forgotten. I hope he enjoys his retirement. So after some more Mount Battle grinding, I level up Growlithe and then purify him. I name him Scoob, and he learns Flamethrower on purification. After that, I evolve him with a Firestone into Arcanine. Anyway, it's time to strap in because we got 5 more admin fights to talk about before the end of the game. But before that, I have to go through the Isle fighting all the Peons and run into Cipher Peon Drupal. Now I know I don't normally show the Peon battles, but this one was a disaster. I again wasn't looking at my notes and didn't realize that there was a random Peon with a Sun Team in the middle of the base. So battle starts as he sends in Houndoom and Ninetales as I send in Deity and Scoob. I immediately switch Deity into Blood as Ninetales sets up a sunny day. Scoob bites Ninetales and Houndoom bites Blood for chip damage. Then 2 sun boosted flamethrowers from them both kill Blood. You didn't see it because of time constraints, but Return from Blood, even as a Teddiursa, did massive damage in the majority of battles. Blood was my first catch, and she will be dearly missed. Well, anyway, I guess Logan had a short retirement. Poor guy. Yeah, well, next up is the rematch against Snaddle. He leads Metang and Quagsire as I lead Scoob and Keegan. Scoob KOs Metang with Flamethrower leading to Scizor, then Keegan Mega Drains Quagsire for about 3/4 of her health as he Mudshots Scoob for less than half. I then Mega Drain and Flamethrower again for the KO on both, leading to Shadow Soul Rock and Cast Form. I then switch Scoob for Deity as Keegan nearly KOs Cast Form with Mach Punch, but he gets hit with Flamethrower. So I switch him for Zeus and KO Cast Form with Psychic from Deity, leading to Shadow Starmie, which I Master Ball next turn. It was one of the only good shadows on the Isle, and I was in desperate need of a water type, especially after the last battle. So I just thought, fuck it, and just caught it, with the Master Ball that I got from the lab. Then, after a few more moves, Soul Rock goes down as well. After that is more battle bingo for TMs and running around to purify Starmie. I name him Rick, and he gains Waterfall, Recover, and Ice Beam upon purifying, so I can give him the TMs for Thunderbolt or Psychic for the perfect moveset depending on the battle, sending Logan back to retirement. Hope it's permanent this time, bud. Next is the fight with one of the schmucks from the beginning of the game, Cipher Admin Argos. He leads Shadow Swellow and Alakazam as I lead Zeus and Deity. Zeus hits Swellow with T-Bolt for the Oko, leading to Kingdra. Then Alakazam hits hard with Ice Punch as Deity retaliates with a Shadow Ball that misses the range to KO. Then I switch into Rick as Zeus hits Alakazam with Quick Attack, leading to Heracross. But then Kingdra does the unthinkable and freezes Rick with Ice Beam. So I switch him out with Pattinson and hit Kingdra with T-Bolt, getting her to half health. Heracross then misses a Rock Tomb. Kingdra does minimal with Double Edge as another T-Bolt KOs. And then I KO Heracross with a Wing Attack. And he sends in Shadow Electabuzz and Shadow Snorlax, which is horrible because Shadow Snorlax has the move Shadow End, a 120 base power Shadow move with 60 accuracy, so it's super effective on everything. After my mons do chip damage to Electabuzz, he uses Shadow Mist to lower my team's evasiveness, so that Snorlax can hit a Shadow End, OHKOing Zeus. This one stung, but I still had a battle to win. So after recoil from Shadow End, Snorlax goes down to a Brick Break from Keegan, and Electabuzz goes down soon after. I was really hoping to keep Jolteon alive for the final fight, seeing as he has 4 flying types, but nothing I can do about it now. But hey, guess what? Logan's out of retirement again! Yo! Anyway, next is the rematch against Monkey Boy. He leads Slowking and Ursaring as I lead Logan and Keegan. Battle starts as Ursaring uses Protect, blocking a Brick Break from Keegan, then Logan hits Slowking with a Shadow Ball for half. My team tanks an Earthquake from him, then I proceed to KO both Mons with the same moves of 4, leading to Aggron and Wall Rain. Aggron then protects, but I predict that, doubling into Wall Rain for the KO, leading to Shadow Poliwrath. I double into him as he uses Shadow Sky, which is fine, but then Aggron hits Keegan hard with Iron Tail, forcing the switch into Deity. Then a Shadow Rush from Poliwrath takes Logan into the red, so I switch to Pattinson as I EQ with Deity for the double knockout, leading to Shadow Mr. Mime, which goes down to 2 Shadow Balls from Pattinson. Next up is the second to last fight in the game, but first, more Mount Battle grinding! Anyway, once my team reaches level 46, it's time to fight Cipher Admin Eldis. He leads Ninjask and Shadow Manectric as I lead Deity and Pattinson. Ninjask protects against a wing attack as Deity KOs Manectric with Earthquake, leading to Shadow Salamence. I then switch Deity for Rick as Ninjask hits Pattinson with an Aerial Ace, but then I KO it with Wing Attack next turn, leading to Flygon. I Shadow Ball Flygon and then KO Salamence with an Ice Beam on Rick, leading to Shadow Marowak. I switch to Scoob and then KO Marowak with a Waterfall, leading to Shadow Lapras. Then Flygon double as his Scoob. I then switch Scoob for Logan and hit Lapras with a T-Bolt. Then after a double edge, it hits for big damage with Shadow Storm. So I switch them both out for Keegan and Deity. Deity then tanks a crit Flamethrower, and on switching a Crunch, and then an Ancient Power and a Brick Break KO Lapras, and then a Mach Punch KOs Flygon. Which means now it's time for more Mount Battle grinding! All jokes aside, now it's time for the final battle against Greevil. This battle is terrifying. Think the Volo fight from Legends Arceus, but on steroids. He has 7 Pokemon and they're all Shadows, so every attack they use is super effective. And to top it all off, 4 of the 7 Pokemon are Legendaries. His team consists of Shadow Lugia, Rhydon, Exeggutor, Tauros, and Legendary Birds. So, after grinding my team to level 50, it was time to end this. The first part of the battle is against Shadow Lugia, in which I lead Rick and Logan. I start from a T-Bolt with Rick, which gets to Paralysis. Then, Lugia uses Shadow Storm, doing about a third on Rick, and missing on Logan because I gave him a Bright Powder, leading to Logan using Crunch. Now, because of the speed drop from the Para, Rick and Logan outspeed, KOing Shadow Lugia. Now for the real fight. Greevil leads Shadow Rhydon and Moltres as I am forced to lead Rick and Logan again. I Waterfall Rhydon for the KO, leading to Exeggutor. Then Moltres uses Shadow Fire, doing over 3/4 of Logan's health. Then he does a quarterback with Crunch. Next turn he protects, and then Starmie KOs Moltres with Waterfall, leading to Tauros. Logan then fails the double protect as Rick hits Exeggutor hard with Ice Beam. Sadly, Logan goes down to a Shadow Rush from Tauros, so I switch in Keegan. But I switch him into a Shadow End from Exeggutor, doing over half. Then a Mach Punch and an Ice Beam from Starmie KOs Tauros, leading to Articuno. Exeggutor then misses a Shadow End as a Mach Punch and T-Bolt from Rick get Articuno down into the yellow. But then a Shadow Chill gets Rick into the red as a Shadow End finishes him off. Then I send in Scoob. Another Mach Punch KOs Exeggutor, leading to Zapdos. Then a Flamethrower from Scoob KOs Articuno. Then, after one final Mach Punch, a Shadow Bolt from Zapdos KOs Keegan. so I send in Deity. Then, Scoop protects as Deity makes the ultimate sacrifice. Which was not at all necessary, but I taught it to him right before the fight for the content, and I wasn't gonna not use it, you know what I mean? So there you have it. That is how I beat an XD Gale of Darkness hardcore Nuzlocke. I had a really great time with this run. It was fun to revisit one of my favorite games from my childhood. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And comment what your favorite Pokemon I used in this run. See you guys next time. Peace.